Have you ever felt like you don't belong in this world? As if you were incarnated at the wrong time, in the wrong family, on the wrong planet? Well, maybe this isn't just imagination. Maybe it's memory. The truth is that there are people who don't adapt, don't fit in, and can't explain themselves. People who carry an unusual sensitivity, a sharp intuition, and a kind of hunger for answers that most people don't feel. While some go with the flow as if everything made sense, others feel that reality is missing something, as if the script of life was being read halfway. And, curiously, these people have something in common. Synchronicities begin to haunt them as if they were clues to a cosmic puzzle. Carl Jung called this the symbolic language of the unconscious. But what no one tells you is that when these synchronicities become too intense, it's because you're not just different, you're a soul out of time. And that changes everything. Because the world tries to convince you that you are the one who is wrong. But the reality is different. Perhaps you are too right for a world that has not yet awakened. And when you begin to understand the signs, you not only access your mission, but you also activate something ancient within you. A force that has no name, but that has always been there, dormant. This video is for those who can no longer bear to ignore the signs, for those who are beginning to realize that there is something much bigger going on behind the scenes of reality, and most importantly, for those who are ready to finally understand why they ended up here, even though they feel like they never belonged here. The answer is not out there. It is between the lines of what has been happening to you. And today, you will learn to decode this with the person who understood it all before anyone else. Carl Jung. There are people who spend their entire lives with the feeling of being in the wrong place, as if they had caught the train of existence at the wrong station and disembarked on this planet by mistake. No matter how hard she tries, she always feels like one of the odd ones out. Like she's living in a world that doesn't speak her language, doesn't share her values, and doesn't vibrate on the same wavelength. This constant feeling of displacement is not a personality defect, nor a symptom of social alienation. For many, it is the first indication that we are talking about a soul out of time, someone who vibrates with patterns that are not common to the era or culture in which they were born. These souls have difficulty connecting with the superficiality, rush, and noise of the modern world. They are like radios tuned to a station that others cannot hear. While the world revolves around productivity, comparison, and ego, these people feel pulled by something deeper, almost like an invisible calling that insists on not leaving them alone. They wonder why they don't fit in, why certain conversations sound shallow, why common places feel energetically heavy. And that's where Carl Jung comes in with his approach to archetypes, helping to understand that this displacement can be the prelude to a higher awakening. Anyone who feels this may start looking for non-standard answers. And that's where curiosity comes in. The right books, the videos that change your vision, the encounters that seem to be the result of chance but are, in fact, synchronicities, bridges between the invisible and the visible. If you identify with this feeling of not belonging, perhaps your soul is vibrating with codes that have not yet fully manifested themselves at this time. And when this starts to happen more frequently, a new perception begins to open up. But most still don't understand what these signs really mean. When a person begins to wonder whether certain encounters, numbers, or repetitive events are more than mere coincidence, they are knocking on the door of one of the most revolutionary concepts in modern psychology: synchronicities. According to Carl Jung, these are events that have a connection in meaning, but not in cause. In other words, they are not explainable by linear logic, but they carry a profound message for those who know how to see. For a soul outside of time, these experiences not only happen more frequently, they also carry an almost magnetic intensity, as if the universe were constantly trying to deliver a coded note. And the curious thing is that the more this soul pays attention to the signs, the more they multiply. a number that appears 3 times in the same day, a song that plays just when you think of someone, a stranger who says the exact phrase you needed to hear. All this is not a funny coincidence, it is symbolic language. Jung said that the collective unconscious communicates like this, through patterns, archetypes, and events that cross time. Therefore, for those who live with the feeling of being in another time, these synchronicities seem like portals, clues that there is something bigger at play, something that does not reveal itself to those who are distracted. Want a practical example? Start writing down every repetition that appears in your life. Numbers, names, objects. Create a synchronicity diary. Within a few weeks, you'll notice patterns that seem to scream for attention. A soul out of time that begins to map its signals awakens the sleeping consciousness. And this is the point where a lot of things change. Because if these signs increase, it's a sign that something is about to be revealed. And the universe never wastes time with those who aren't ready to see it. There's a specific moment in every soul's journey out of time when the signs come out of the subtle and start knocking loudly. It's as if the universe lost patience with your hesitation and decided to reveal everything at once. You start to watch the same hours over and over again every day, meet people who seem to know who you are without having ever seen you before, and dream of places you've never visited, but feel like they're your true home. This is the beginning of the awakening of the uncanny, the point at which synchronicities not only increase but also become more symbolic, more direct, more difficult to ignore. These signs appear when your energy begins to vibrate differently. This can happen after a crisis, a bereavement, a radical change, or even after a simple meditation that has opened portals within you. What once seemed like a coincidence now reveals itself as a message. Carl Jung observed this in patients who were going through profound internal transformations. They reported archetypal dreams, unlikely encounters, and feelings of déjà vu so intense that they seemed to tear the veil between dimensions. This is not superstition. It is pure symbolic language, and those who are awakening need to learn to listen with other senses. Want a tip? Instead of ignoring that number 1111 that keeps appearing, stop, breathe, and reflect. What am I feeling right now? What was I thinking at this exact moment? These questions activate your intuition. This is how you start to translate what is behind the synchronicities, and the more you decipher, the more they appear. But don't worry, because this is just the beginning. The question that immediately echoes is, if these signs are calling me, why exactly was I sent here? If you feel like you're not from here, that you don't speak the same energetic language as the people around you, and that the world seems to revolve at another frequency, maybe it's not just a sensation, maybe it's memory. An old memory coming from a place that cannot be located on a map, but that pulses in the center of your chest. Souls like this, who carry this impression of being visitors on a strange planet, are what we call souls out of time. And they are not here by chance. There is a specific reason, a greater mission behind the feeling of displacement. And Carl Jung knew this when he talked about the transformative role of the unconscious. These souls do not come to go with the flow. They come to break it. They don't fit into the mold because they were born to break the mold. They are those who question what everyone accepts, those who feel before understanding, those who carry an intuition so sharp that it even seems wrong in the eyes of common logic. The role of these souls is that of a bridge between the old and the new, between chaos and healing, between illusion and consciousness. They are the ones who perceive synchronicities as clues to a greater reality, and who help others to perceive it too. They arrive first because they are the lighthouse that guides those who are still lost in the fog. Want a practical example? Instead of trying to fit in, start asking yourself, what do I see that others miss? List everything, Social standards that you question, ideas that you believed in as a child without knowing where they came from, skills that no one taught you. This is your mission kit. Souls like this tend to have ease with healing, with symbolic communication, with energy reading. It's not about being better, it's about being a seed. And seeds are buried in the dark before they bloom. But when they bloom, no one can pretend they didn't see it. Living as a soul outside of time is no easy task, but it is no punishment either. It's a summons. The truth is that, in the midst of a world increasingly disconnected from the essence, those who carry this different vibration need to create strategies not to hide, but to sustain themselves energetically. And that starts with something simple: spiritual hygiene. That's right. Daily energetic cleaning, meditation upon waking up, baths with coarse salt and herbs such as rue or rosemary, and avoiding heavy environments are basic but extremely effective attitudes. You were not made to withstand density. You were made to transmute it. But no one transmutes what they don't first recognize. Another essential point is to cultivate a vibrational tribe. It won't always be the blood family. Often it will be the soul family. People who understand you through their eyes, who vibrate with the same questions, who see synchronicities as part of the language of life, and not as a mystical delirium. Reading books that feed this vision, such as The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle or The Red Book by Jung, helps reinforce your internal foundation. Participating in study groups, spiritual meetings, or even conversations about awakening consciousness reminds you are not alone, you are spread out. And above all, don't try to turn off your light to fit in where you weren't born to exist. Its shine is not excessive, it's direction. The more you resist your calling, the more the signs intensify, because the universe won't let you forget who you are. He didn't come to compete, he came to guide. And now that you understand this, perhaps you will begin to realize that everything that seemed strange, out of place, was actually the beginning of a much greater revelation. So now answer me honestly. After everything you've heard here, are you going to continue treating these experiences as if they were just coincidences? Are you going to continue ignoring the signs that the universe is rubbing in your face, thinking it's just in your head? Or will you finally accept that there is something much bigger moving behind every detail? And that you were chosen to awaken to this new reality? Because from now on, you already know, every synchronicity that appears on your path is an invitation to leave the surface and dive into a deeper level of consciousness. So answer me here in the comments. What was the most striking sign you've ever received? What number, dream, or sensation kept ringing in your mind without explanation? What pattern did you identify in today's video? And most importantly, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to apply it, or are you going to let it go? Because when you write, you activate. And when you share, you inspire others who are going through the same process, but still don't understand what's happening. Sometimes your comment is the key someone needed to wake up. And if this video made you feel like someone finally translated what you've always felt, then subscribe to the channel now. Activate the bell to receive the next content. Here, you will never feel alone again. Here, you will understand that being out of time is not a mistake. It is your greatest gift, and the journey is just beginning.